Hello, everyone. I'm Katherine Barton, and this is Karen Rigamonti. And we are here today to talk to you about some really important stuff. We're here to talk about the work that we're doing in the world, which is really important, that matters to us, and I hope matters to you a lot. About coaching, about relationships, about culture, about failure, and about books that we're writing. So we're delighted to be here to talk to you. We're sorry this isn't live, but we are delighted we're here anyway. So thank you for having a look at this and for having us be part of your life for a few minutes. So both of us have been working in a Produce You program, a coaching program that's had a profound effect on both of us, I think, and Karen can talk about that too. And for me, it's been a real exercise in really getting that what is most important to me, and bringing that forth is had a unbelievably energizing effect on me. I've been working on a book that's really about the tremendous amount of collapse that I experienced from my marriage and actually coming back from that, and the tremendous amount of energy that's taken to get into living really fully in terms of who I am, a lot in terms of claiming the art that I do through a book, and also doing a bunch of classes that are about the magic of true intention is one. I'm getting ready to do a class on dreaming. But it's been about really bringing forth what I really care about. And that's what Karen and I are both interested in, is having that happen for me and for having it happen for you. So Karen, do you want to say a little bit about yourself and what's most important to you right now?
Sure. Like you, I have a book coming out probably in 2022. And I come from the world of healthcare. I'm a physician by training. And I was living for 5.5 years in Saudi Arabia, working in the healthcare system there and doing executive coaching, leadership training, and really helping to shift the culture of the whole healthcare system within the hospital system we were working in, and getting them to have more compassionate conversations, deeper relationships, and more fully including people to the point of actually belonging, so that they could live their authentic life and be more productive and have better, safer medical outcomes.
Whoa, that's important work. And when I think about what's going on in this country, I can't think of anything people would need more. Can you tell maybe one story that is close to your heart about this, that is maybe motivated you?
36 years ago, I was in a different desert, not Saudi Arabia, but Arizona. And I ended up going to the obstetrician because I felt a lot of abdominal discomfort, and I was pregnant with my second child. Unfortunately, that physician did not really listen to me, the patient, and just so happened to be also a physician. And he didn't take me seriously and sent me home, when I very clearly said that this feels like the same labor as when my daughter was born 1.5 years earlier. And sure enough, I delivered prematurely, severely prematurely, and my son has severe challenges in life ever since and is not fully independent. And that made me realize right away that while our intentions are all good, we don't always listen effectively, and we listen to respond and react rather than to really hear and understand what the person in front of us is saying, and that this culture has to shift because the outcomes aren't good when we don't.
Wow, what a story of courage, Karen. What a story of courage in terms of, and how personally, this is a very personal thing for you, it sounds like.
Well, it's personal, but it goes beyond that, because having worked in the healthcare system, I see it all the time. I've worn many hats, both as a patient, as a family care provider for my son and for elderly parents, and a brother that had mental health issues and dependency issues. And so you realize that you're caught in that sandwich effect. And how do we create the life we really want? And how do we transform? Instead of being angry with the world, how can we find the goodness in it and create opportunities and possibilities from that?
You know, I think I have in some ways a similar story, that my tremendous dedication to my family and disappointment in that it wasn't going the way that I wanted it to be, and really getting to a point where I think a lot of the work that I'm doing right now, and this very specifically this workshop about dreaming, really comes from an incredible disappointment about things not happening the way I wanted to happen. The dream marriage that I had was not happening. The dream child was not happening. It wasn't like the TV shows I was watching or the ones that I liked. So I think a lot of getting to the point where I could allow myself to really have the disappointment and bring that forward and find a way to nurture the actual dreams that I had has really been kind of what's brought me forward. And a lot of that has been learning to actually, even as I've written this book, to deal with the kind of a lot of failure. That I didn't, that writing a book turned to be a lot harder than I thought, that actually having to call on a whole lot more resources that I didn't think I would need. But that's actually really taught me a lot about really how to have compassion and empathy for people that all the time are trying to find the resources that they need. So that's been kind of a joy for me too. So what is it you're working on now you'd like to tell people about, Karen?
My book that will be coming out next year will be about how we all make assumptions, kind of like what you were saying. And then we have expectations, whether it's for our jobs, our families, our life in general. We put people in categories because it makes it more efficient and effective for us, we think. And in the reality is that we are disappointed in because the expectations don't match what we think will happen, or as you call it, dream up. I'm working on getting everyone to kind of dig their way out of their own hole and get out of their own way to create the life that they want, whether it's at work or at home, and deepen the relationships and learn to advocate for what you really need and what you want, but in a nice and caring way, not from anger, but from creative approach.
And couldn't we use a lot of that in our country right now?
I believe we all could benefit from more compassion. And I believe it's not the only thing. Certainly we have to have structures and financial and KPIs and metrics, but we rely so much on that particularly in healthcare, but everywhere, we've polarized our worlds and we've made politics take center front and financials take center front instead of seeing people as people and not as objects.
That is so profoundly true. I think a lot of what I've been going through in the last couple of years is really with the help of many, many people that have helped me, including the coaching program I'm in, to actually see the capacities that I have. And the more I've seen that, the more I've been able to help other people see the capacities they have and how much people haven't given themselves enough credit to go forward, and also encourage people to get the support that they actually need.
Yeah, it's really hard to ask for help. That is probably one of the biggest challenges in life, is how to know who to ask for, where to find the help you need, and ask for it in a loving way, and to also really have compassion for yourself, not just for everyone else.
Beautiful. I've been very inspired by the work of Kristen Neff on self-compassion. And she has a great story where she's going across the Atlantic Ocean, and she has an autistic child that throws an incredible fit. The kid's about 6 years old, right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and the daggers that other people are shooting at her, that how dare she, either angry at her as a child, angry that they've been inconvenienced because this kid is loud on this very enclosed space. And the story she tells about actually soothing herself, first of all, giving help to herself, that you're doing the best job you can. And then when she started to do that, the child actually calmed down. So when we think about compassion or helping, maybe to first of all help ourselves through our own compassion. And then when we're doing that, that actually gives us a huge ability to actually work with others and be compassionate to others as well.
I love what you're saying. And, one of the things brought to mind another story where I've had several instances when my son was a little bit younger, in high school age, and I would take him to the grocery store with me because that was an outing he could actually do. It was a little wear and tear on me. Never knew exactly what was going to happen. And there were two instances, one of which an elderly man kept screaming, hurry up, because it was a very cold, windy day. And we were kind of blocking the door. And my son had decided to sit down. And he was a little big to just pick up and move. And I was doing my best. And the woman behind me could see what was going on, was very patient. And he couldn't, until he finally could get by, when I could kind of wiggle my son forward a little more. And then he apologized. And my reaction was, do I use this as a teaching moment or as thank you for apologizing. And I kind of did that, but I felt like I was almost nasty because I said, well, God gave you the gift of vision. Before you open your mouth and insert your foot, next time use it. And that's all I ask of you. But thank you for apologizing. And the woman behind me said, oh, you were so much nicer than I would have been. But it just goes to show how we only think about our own interests. The other story was a woman following me around, and my son, who normally babbles and does all sorts of verbal whatever, was being quiet and just pushing the cart with me. And I was holding, she didn't understand that I was holding the cart so he'd know where to go because he can't see. She was like, oh, I would love to trade my son with you for yours. They were approximately the same age, apparently. And he was working at Target, loading the trucks for the summer. He was in high school. And I was like, how great can that be? Your son has got a job, showing up every day. I wasn't sure. What did she expect him to be in the C-suite? But at the end, she kept following me and saying this nonstop on every aisle. And finally, at the checkout, she ended up behind me. And I said, I don't think you really mean that. And she said, oh, I do. And I said, do you realize my son is blind? And with that, she said, oh, never mind. So it was like, no, I just want a perfect situation. And we all look for that. But how can you find perfection even when it doesn't outwardly appear like perfection?
Thanks for sharing that story, Karen. Wow. Anything else, Karen, you wanted to particularly share today?
I believe that we can all do better, and we all have great intentions, and it's our impact that sometimes falls short. And we should learn to forgive ourselves when we do it and forgive others, because none of us are right all the time. I believe we're all right partially, which means, unfortunately, we're all wrong partially as well. And when we can look into a mirror and kind of own our own mistakes and be accountable with our own things, and then think collectively with responsibility for everyone, this world will be a better place. And I know with your work and dreaming and whatnot, you're helping to create that as well. And it's very exciting to see what you're doing as well.
Well, thank you, Karen. And just to know someone like you is working in the healthcare system is actually delightful. Because they certainly, all the support and all the love and all the reminders of just how important belonging is, and that whole area of compassion, which has been so, I think, so hard to keep in front of our mind with what we've been going through in the past couple of years. So thank you for being on this with together, Karen. Just cool that we could collaborate a little bit. So look for some books coming out from us in the next year or so, folks. And Karen's work on healthcare and my work on dreaming and intention. Would love to have you be a part of that too. So again, thanks for watching and have a great day.
Thank you for having me, Katherine. And I look forward to many more collaborations.
Thanks. Me too.